the talk of the town, which is Mr. Katt Williams. So I'm going to talk to my man Mahl. Sidebar. Mahl used to be playing comics in the dorm / apartment every other day in the joint. I woke up laughing one time at O'Connell. I will never forget that. I was dying laughing waking up. Anyways, what are some lessons learned from that interview, Mahl, about Shannon Sharpe and Katt Williams?
So I want to lead off with a quote. Charlemagne always says, "No one cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining." Not to say Katt was here lying all throughout the day, but throughout the years, we've been given so many stories about Hollywood, about comedians, or about just in general making it in certain industries, that whatever we're told that sounds more polarizing is going to catch your attention. We all sat there for the most part and watched a almost 3-hour interview like it was must-see TV. And first of all, to remain unbiased, I want to applaud Shannon Sharpe for giving somebody a platform, using his platform to that event. I want to applaud Katt for being able to just grasp people's attention for that time. You know, he's given so many people now motivation and just items to just eat off of. There's so many YouTubers that are making money off of this, so many reaction channels, so many podcasts that have content now just off of this alone, whether they are whatever is going on. So to remain unbiased, you know, first I want to celebrate Katt. Katt has been doing comedy for over 20 years. He is a father. You know, he's adopted children, given these beautiful children more of a life than they would have had without him. He's put comedians on. He goes on tour. He's putting food in people's belly, money in their pocket, everything down to the T. You know, but also in this moment, he's a disruptor. But that's what's needed in all forms of entertainment. Me, I love comedy. I love to see everybody. And I feel like anybody can give an audience what they need. To be, you know, in certain spaces, you're going to have to find different ways to tell jokes. Yes, Katt's lane has always been more urban, but he also has political comedy that goes all throughout, and it spans over this long career. So in a way, I always have a respect for when people try to, you know, put things out there. And what I'm seeing is the biggest takeaway. People want to know, all right, is he lying? That's the big thing. There's like, oh yeah, people said stuff back, but no one's calling him a liar. But when I look at a comedian and when they talk, I don't want to hear people come back with a flat statement. I want to hear them come back in their same art form. Come back with jokes. Are you, like I said, if somebody's coming back and he's saying things in a comedic way, but sometimes it's still truthful, which all comedy is based off truth, are they responding in a great way? So again, they're going to respond to the best way that their particular audience knows. Whether they're rapping, whether they're saying things in a relaxed, calm manner with friends on camera, or whether they just choose not to address it at all. There's going to be things like we could pick apart these things altogether. Like mentioning earthquake, he's saying earthquakes illiterate. Come on. The man was in the Air Force. The military is not bringing on an illiterate person to not only, you know, guard the nation, but he was a police officer in the Air Force, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Come on now. Like, there are so many things where two things can be true. Like I said, I don't want to pick things apart, but just to give some notoriety or some ideas for you to think about. Yes, somebody can develop a comedy career on two coasts at the same time. Most comedians coming up worked at the airport. What's one thing you get when you work at the airport? A buddy pass. So they'll work their 9 to 5 during the week and get on a plane during the weekend. Michael Blackson is one who stated this on the 520 podcast. He said, I flew over to the LA on the weekends. I did my auditions. I did my stand-up, and I came back. People act like planes don't exist. Like there is not a way to get from coast to coast within a couple of hours. So to dismiss somebody's career off things you feel you couldn't, like you feel you passed up, so they just did, to me, it means different things. Because I just want, go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm open.
All right. Can I ask you a question, Maul? You saw that video that just played with Katt running that little 30-yard dash?
Let's
32?
talk about that. Yes, because people,
So
please remember, a basketball court is 94 feet. A 40-yard dash.
I already did my estimate. You mean, I already did my
40-yard dash is 120 feet. Granted, he moves very well for a 50-plus-year-old man, but let's not say it's a 4.3.
Okay,
I already did my. Go ahead. You gotta.
Yeah. What's the conversion, Coach Mills?
I timed him at a 5'6" if he was to do a 40.
And granted, it's gonna be hard for somebody who is 5'2" to run a sub 4.4 40-yard dash. You're not covering ground.
Anyways, I got a question. I got a question. When was that video recorded? Because I want to know if he was still on drugs.
See, thing is, that's subjective because, again, I'm not in the room with the man. But from people I've spoken to, they feel like this is somebody who is an addict who's come up because there's how things line up. There are other comedians who say they've been on tour, they've been in cars with him, and then he's now saying he doesn't know them. He's never met them. Like I said, his stories, I don't want to pick apart somebody's story. It will be here all day. I've done this off camera. But like I said, yes, there have been jokes stolen. Joke stealing is one of the things people do. Whether you know it or not, if you're a fan of comedy, subconsciously, you start to ingest and you start to project what you've just taken out. So people who watch Katt Williams, their mannerisms when trying to replicate that story get built into what you do, how you tell the story. We see so many people on social media right now getting big, mimicking the way Kevin Hart used to tell his jokes. That's essentially their entire style, and they're getting on because of this. So, end of the day, comedy is subjective, right? And you're gonna find your audience in your lane. Because I like going to the comedy store. Go ahead.
Hey, but Mo, real quick, and then once Mo makes his quick statement, we're gonna wrap this up. Mo, what was your feedback off of that interview?
I just thought it was a bad look, man. To be somebody of prominence, it just seemed like even the way that the interview flowed, as soon as Shannon Sharp finished introducing him, he's straight into it. The first 13 minutes, he done shot at 5-6 people. It came off as hate, right? To big himself up is how I see it. And being a more modest type of guy, unless you rile me up, right? I have to actually be in competition to even get to a certain point. If we're competing, then the gloves are off, right? Because I'm trying to win. But in general, I'm more of I'm not going to speak on something kind of guy. I just let that be because it makes you look bad, right? It makes you look bad. It makes you look disingenuous. It makes you look like you're trying to prop yourself up here while stomping on somebody else. It's just not a good look. People, this video has been seen about, I believe, 42 million views now by this point. If I heard Shannon Sharp say it correctly, right? Yeah. If I heard him say it correctly the other night on the Nightcap show that he does with Chad Ochocinco Johnson.
And Gilbert.
It's Gilbert. It's gotten a lot of traction in a short period of time, and I would rather us put our individual attention and focus on more positive things. But that's just me.
Yeah,
let me
real
wrap
quick.
Up real quick once you're done. Let me wrap up.
I just want to say one thing about that. What I took away from it is I think it's similar to other people we've seen when they come out. For example, you've seen Moesha. Yeah. What's I can't remember her name right now. Queens of Comedy, Monique. You've seen her and other folks, take issue with different people in the industry and whatnot. And again, I think it's no different from the workplace. You got folks who know how to play the game and they get opportunities or they get put on. And so it looks a certain way when they know how to talk to people and negotiate and network. And I think that might be a weakness of Katt's in that particular arena with those other people he's been talking about, where he hasn't been able to network the same way and get the same type of opportunities those people were able to do, who he thinks is not as good as he is as a comedian. And again, that's subjective. But if you're a business, you're going to make a safe bet. Some of them may not have thought he was the safest bet at the time. So that's kind of what I took away from all that. It's entertaining. We all like it. You know, it's fun. It gets us talking. It gives us something to talk about. And it started 2024 off with a bang. So, hey, we're going to see what more of 2024 got to offer. But go ahead.
All right. Just 3 points to kind of end out. As I was watching this, my first thought was, let me follow the money. I looked, Katt's on tour. Tickets were $75 when that whole thing was playing out. Now they're over $300. So, granted, you follow the money is going to go there, as well as also bringing somebody's ex-wife on tour. That's a whole other thing. Secondly, like I said, I look at this again as when Pusha T dissed Drake. It brings the attention to what's going on, but then it leads to what's next. Yes, he's done like another interview that's come out, but again, now are we doing this all for the tour without calling it for the tour? But then lastly, like I said, I wish we can get a new era of, Harlem Nights? Can we get all the comedians together and get a funny movie? This is what the game has been missing. 90s, everybody was popping up on everybody's show. Everybody was collaborating at some point to make the content better. Martin always had people on. Was Arsenio always had people on? Can we just uplift ourselves? Because yes, we can point at this group. This group is also a part of a group outside of comedy, through fraternities and sororities, and they build each other up. Can we do that as far as audiences, as far as comedians? Give the people what they want. Y'all go on tour together, I swear it's going to shut down the internet.